Oh, yeah. Freak out. Yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, And this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future, yeah. And I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar. Yeah, the cream of the crop. Dig it?
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er minded. 49er can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A written goal session. About a ready go to session. With some well-controlled expressions. Let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot. That's how it's been in the spot. Let's roll that back, all that crack, all that strip, fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the storyline, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind. 49er minded.
It's not just a thought process,
49er minded,
but a way of life. For sure.
49er minded.
Way of life.
49er minded.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a preseason postgame edition of 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. The San Francisco 49ers came victorious 28-21 against the Green Bay Packers. And before I bring my guests on, first time we're having him on the show, so I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to say what's up to a couple people in chat. We got Kenny, says, let's go Niners. What's good, faithful? We got 49ers Chanel. What's up, Joe? Says, what's up, faithful? And this guy, I'm going to bring him on, goes by the name of SwanSong. He's always on the Twitter spaces from time to time. He's known on Twitter. You may have seen him calling on the Grant Cohn Show and a few other 49er call-in shows. All the way from Southern California, diehard 49er fan, SwanSong. What is up, bro?
What's up, Bashar? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I like that jersey you got on.
Yeah, I got it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, there you go.
Glad it fits.
There you go, Trey Lance. We got Danny G in the building, says, good start to 2022. Well, you know, hey, it's preseason, but hey, I mean, we saw some glimpses and, you know, they look pretty good. It's funny because, you know, during the past weeks of training camp, you know, all the media members were there and sometimes NFL Network was there and, you know, Trey would have his good days, but then he'd have his bad days. You know, people look at the completions percentage and I was looking at it and I was thinking like, okay, you know, I'm not going to panic over this stuff. Now, if I see this bad, you know, if I see bad accuracy during the games or a horrible completion percentage during real games that matter, then I'll speak on it. But if it's just practice, you know, I'm not going to trip on it too hard because he was making great throws throughout training camp in general. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want to see, right? You want to see that he's making plays and things like that because we don't have the context of, like, even if you're there, you don't know the context, right? Unless you're on the team, because you don't know what Kyle's trying to run, what they're trying to practice on, you know, yada, 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 you know? So the fact that he was able to make drives in practice and make big plays, sure, there's errant throws, but every quarterback makes errant throws, man, like every one of them. So it's like, can't what's it called? Look at that too hard.
Yeah, I mean, Trey Lance, Patrick Mahomes in his first season that he was given the starting position at quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he had one practice where he threw 7 interceptions, you know? I mean, I didn't even know about that until this year because, again, like, I'm not one who sits there and analyzes everything that these quarterbacks do in practice and training camp and make that the end-all be-all in terms of whether or not they're going to have a good season. Because I know there's so much more to the NFL than what you do in training camp. But
and also, like, when it comes to Trey Lance, like, I mean, we saw it last year, right? I brought this up as we saw Mahomes in the playoff games, like, miss open receivers. He's throwing it at their feet. But you don't say anything about Mahomes because you've seen him do it, right? You've seen him do it. Like, but with Trey, it's like, it's still a mystery, right? So everyone's going to focus on those things instead. But at the end of the day, he's going to be fine. Like, I think what we saw today, he started off way smoother than he had, you know, in the times that we've seen him start, right? He looked more in command. I mean, I think he still had some jitters a little bit here. He kind of threw hard. that pass to Dwelly to the outside. That was a nice catch by Dwelly. And then yeah, like, but for the most part, he looked under control. I think he was going through his progressions pretty good. And that one pass, that bomb was just sweet. Like,
oh yeah, we'll get into that play. Let me say what's up to some people that trickled in late. I didn't obviously advertise it that I was going to make a post game show. I kind of mentioned it in my show yesterday that I might do one. I was pretty close to not doing one. I'll be honest. Towards the end of the game, I was falling asleep. So that's what happens during these preseason games. They're not really exciting like regular season games. But some people did come in the chat, and we got David McNew says, "Yeah, buddy, we better get used to those long bombs." Oh yeah, we're gonna get used to those. We're definitely. Shanahan is just he's salivating right now that he has a quarterback who can throw the deep ball with consistency. So, and he's got the playmakers to do so. It's like a kid in a candy store. Like, should I grab the Mars bar? Should I grab the Caramello? Yeah. Should I grab the Kit Kat? You know what I mean? Like all these toys as dispensed. So we got Corey Davis. Corey Davis asks, a very loyal viewer of the show, really, really appreciate, diehard Niner fan from the East Bay. So kind of had that East Bay connection where I grew up. He said, "Who was rapping on your new theme song?" So my I did a release show of that when I first dropped that new video. And we dropped some new songs for that rapper as well. It's a guy named 49er Dude. I've had him on the show multiple times, actually. Great guy, based in Southern California. And feel free to check out some of my past videos if you want to see what he's all about and check out his music. I was playing some of his music actually on Friday because when I had Del G on, another 49er rapper, 49er Dude's also on some of those tracks. Amin the Dream, what is up? How's it going? Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Great guy. Says Samuel Womack dominated today, should be the slot corner, and that jersey is SwanSong. Oh yeah, Samuel Womack pretty much stepped up and said, Darquise Denard, I know you're a veteran, you've been in the league, and you may have been drafted in the first round at one point in time in your career, but and you were penciled in as a nickel guy, but guess what? I might want to be the starter, and I'm proving myself right now. Would you say so, SwanSong?
Oh yeah, sorry, I thought you were still answering. Womack, dude, Womack looked good. He was sticky in coverage. He got 2 interceptions. That one amazing one where it was like where he turned over and like we didn't know what was going on, and then he intercepted it as the ball was in play, and he looked good running. Like when he caught the second interception, looked good running. He has that body type. He looks bigger than 5'9". Like to me, like when I see him, I don't see a small guy. Like he looks, you know what I mean? He looks like a regular dude. And man, that's great. It's great to see that. It's great to see us making plays. We had 3 picks today? Was it 3 picks?
We did. That one linebacker whose name escapes me. It was the first time I actually ran across his name.
Oh, Ball. That's another guy that looked good. That guy was yoked up, man, running down. I was like, man, because I've heard of Ball, and I know Larry Kruger's been really high on him, but I've never seen what he looks like. And then like you see it, and then you're like, yeah, like Womack passes the eye test to me, Ball passes the eye test to me, and yeah, that it's really positive to see those things.
SwanSong and I are in this Facebook group chat, and during the game, after Womack got his second interception, I typed, "Who's the Mac?" It's a little play on words. If you know Ice Cube, back in the day, he had a song called "Who's the Mac?" and it's just a little. I think it's a little catchy. Joey Arredondo, I know who this guy is from Twitter. Really good dude. Says the SwanSong with question marks. So I guess he's surprised to see you on camera.
Yeah, I'm usually memeing with doing those deep fakes with Jed and Elon.
You were gonna come on as Elon Musk. I was like, no, we got to see the real SwanSong.
And Joey, thanks for that. Joey passed that video off where it was that one week where it's like, oh, look at his throwing motion. Why is he throwing so much sidearm? And why does this doesn't look right? And then he put that, or he tweeted that video of Mahomes doing it. Josh Allen doing it. It was just funny.
I do remember that now. I do remember that. Yeah, there were certain people out there who were like ultra critical about Trey Lance's release, and I'm thinking we are like, unless you've like played the court. I'm not saying that you have to play football, but you really have to be above. Beyond the average, armchair quarterback fan like ourselves to really be that judgmental on a quarterback release. Is all I gotta say.
I was like, it's fine to like. I would say things about like that to my friends. I wouldn't ever say it publicly because I don't know. It's just you gotta kind of be someone, kind of like what Crocker said. Like, dude, unless you're like a QB guru, like don't trust what anyone says about mechanics, right? Unless it's a QB guru that's saying it, right? Like someone that
Exactly,
coaches.
exactly. A QB guru would be a great person, or even a high school coach or something.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
a step above guys like us.
Yeah.
Or a bigger step. That is okay. So I flashed this on the screen. Just a quick reminder because I never ever check my analytical data on my videos or my page, but something jumped out to me that half of my viewers aren't even subscribed to me. So just throwing it out there on the banner below. Subscribe to 49er Minded on YouTube. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter. If you want to get in touch with me, hit me up on a DM on Twitter, Instagram. I have a Facebook group. I'm always answering questions if people have any. And, I've been lately connected and networked with a whole lot of great people in the 49er community. So I'm very thankful for that. And, obviously, the way to contact me is through there. On YouTube, there's no actual way to DM me or anything like that. So just throwing it out there. And, hey, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, click the button. It is free. Oh, we got Mariah 49er Faithful Lee from 49er Faithful Lee podcast, repping the 49ers in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this whole Trey Lance experience is going to be fun. Now, obviously, I was juiced when we drafted him. I was, I got over the Jimmy thing, the whole Jimmy experience, more so when after Jimmy G got injured against Seattle in 2020, right? And Steve Young had spoken publicly about it, saying he thought the 49ers at that point, he had a strong feeling the 49ers were going to be going a different direction, the quarterback position, and pretty much told me, hey, this is a quarterback heavy draft class, so we're probably going to, draft a QB. And once obviously they made that big trade with the Miami Dolphins, it was like, duh, we're using that pick to get a quarterback. And then there were still some Niner fans out there who were very connected to Jimmy G, and they were like, no, we're going to draft O-line. We're going to draft this. We don't need to draft the quarterback. There were people that were really, really on the fence about us drafting the quarterback. So I wanted either Lance or Fields. And early, I was at the Trey Lance preseason game last year. I know it's only preseason, but the moment Lance dropped back, I just saw just the way he moved his feet, the way he stood there. And obviously he delivered that one touchdown to Trent Sherfield and everybody went wild. I could just see talent that I haven't seen in a long, long time at the 49er quarterback position, and just a piece of clay that Kyle Shanahan can grab and mold and shape it to be something.
It was interesting that you said that because in the first preseason game, it started looking rough with Trey, right? After that bomb, like he was having, but the thing about it was, even though it started looking rough, the way that how he was competing, like you could see in his eyes, like if you rewatch that game at the end, where before he gets out, the way that he was so competitive, even though this is like his first game playing and he's super green, right? And he doesn't have a lot of experience. We know this, but you could see the competitiveness there. And that I was really impressed with that. And the thing is, Trey's going to need reps. We know this, right? Like, when he gets the overall rhythm of the game down, where he can calm his nerves and things like that, because I didn't think he came out in this game a little bit excited as well. Better, more improved than what we saw him before, but still a little bit excited. But once he gets more games under his belt, once he hey, I've gone through this, is not a big deal anymore. It's going to be exciting to see, because that's what we've been waiting for, right? We've been waiting for a QB that kind of has it all, like Trey does. Like, because he literally has it all. He has to show it, but I mean, his ceiling is, I don't think there's a limit to it. I mean, he looks so good. Like Cap, like I was really excited with Cap, right? But there were some things about Cap that we learned later on, right? The not that into the playbook, things like that, right? Not having touch on his pass. I saw Cap lifting a lot of weights and stuff, and I loved Cap, don't get me wrong, but when we found out all the things that we know now, he's not I'm not trying to throw Cap any shade or anything, but Trey seems like the whole package, right? Like he's going to be working at his game. He's working at all parts.
The focus with Trey is elite. That his focus and his dedication is just elite. His work ethic, and that's aside from his intelligence and his physical attributes. Obviously.
Yeah, and Steve Young had said, hey, the one thing I could say right now about Trey Lance is that he's an elite processor. Like, you're not gonna have to worry about that. And he works hard. And the two things that Steve says is he just has to do it. He just has to go out and execute. His body needs to execute what his mind can already do. Right. So you need reps for that, especially when you're changing mechanics and things like that. Everyone knows when you're doing something new, you're not going to be just great at it. Right. You're going to be inconsistent. Sometimes it's going to look good. Sometimes it's not, because you don't have the muscle memory set in. Right. And this is what we want. We want him. He's going to lock in that muscle memory, and the game's going to start getting slower. He's going to have a better rhythm about things. And we get to see that all. We get to see all of that play out.
It's just like when you're at a new job. I remember at one of my old jobs, we had this this software, this whole database of everything we do within the company. And when I first saw that software, I freaked out. I was like, how do you... There were a million things to take in, and the software was literally written in MS-DOS form, even though we're talking like, in the 2015s and 16s or whatever. MS-DOS is like, we're going back to the 80s with that, all right?
Right.
So, and I saw it, and I freaked out when I first had to learn it in 2010. But, day by day, and lo and behold, I became an expert at it, is what I'm trying to say. Just because you're working it every day. Now, you mentioned Trey Lance, he gets off to a slow start. We noticed every time we've seen Trey play, in all the preseason games so far, even in all the, he only played 2 regular season games, 2.5, that is. He's gotten off to a slow start, but from that slow start, he's progressed and he's gotten better throughout the game. And that's what I like to see. Another thing great that I've heard from the coaches is that he never makes the same mistake twice, which is great to hear. And it felt really, really good because Steve Young's been talking to Trey a lot. And like you said earlier about the whole thing where Steve Young said that he's processing information properly and processing the reads, like, that's huge, And again, you said muscle memory. Now, before Trey threw that touchdown, let's go back to the game really quick. I wish I could play it. I don't want to play highlights because YouTube likes to ding people for copyrights, and you guys all saw the highlights. You can click another browser and pull up the highlights. Go ahead, click another tab if you want. But prior to the touchdown play, I was like, I think you may have seen it, but it was like Justin Skule was the right tackle, and I was like. Yeah. I literally saw him. It was like a matador letting a freaking a bull go through, or it was like a turnstile, Swiss cheese, whatever you want to call it. He let his man through so quick, and I'm not sure if Trey got sacked on that play or if it was an incomplete pass, but Trey almost got sacked. But I was like, dude, Trey might get killed in this game.
Yeah.
If Justin Skule is going to play like that, put McGlinchey back in. Or I was saying since they benched McGlinchey, where's Jordan Mills? I heard we had picked up Jordan Mills, this veteran tackle who has all the starting experience and who's a guy that if McGlinchey gets injured, hey, you could throw you got a veteran tackle with starting experience that you could throw in there, and he wasn't in there yet. I guess he's got to get accustomed to the offense.
It's probably locker room politics too, right? Kind of like School's been there, and you're going to bring this new guy, and like it's not like Jordan Mills is like a Pro Bowler, right? So then he has kind of like has to like get acclimated and kind of go through the pecking order of things. But that did not look good, dude. Because when I saw that, I was like, what? Like, get him out, man. Like, but I think they did a good job on, like, if a lot of the stuff that he was doing was check downs, right? I know he wishes he had that pass, the out route to Danny Gray that he missed.
Where Danny Gray had to stretch out.
Yeah, I know he wishes he had that back. But even, the thing about it is I say to myself, if he completes that pass, he might have been taken out of the game. You know what I mean? On that drive, and we wouldn't have seen the bomb to Danny Gray. So everything happens for a reason. And he ends up 4-5. Perfect quarterback rating. I think it's like 158.3.
I'm like, to all the naysayers who kept dissecting Trey Lance's completion percentages in camp. Oh, he was only 50%. Like, is 4 for 5 good enough? I mean, 76-yard touchdown pass. Yeah. I was going to mention Skule again because I went back and watched the play. Actually, Skule got bulldozed pretty hard on that touchdown pass, and he almost got bulldozed into Lance if you go back and watch it. But I love Lance's poise in the pocket. He stood strong in the pocket. He aired out, and the ball was up in the air. I was thinking, this is too good to be true if it's a touchdown. Whoa, Gray caught it. Whoa. Is he going to make it in the end zone? And boom. And if you go back and watch the replay, you can kind of see that the ball kind of drifted a little bit towards where the sidelines were, and Gray made the adjustment.
Yeah, and what was impressive with that play, compared to last year's, play action where he bombs it out to Trent Sherfield. Like in this play, the pocket's collapsing. He's getting pressure from both sides. He stands tall, steps up a little bit, lets out that bomb. That was a pretty good spiral too. Like on the replay, that looked like a pretty good spiral. And then, he gets Danny Gray in stride, and Danny Gray did an awesome job by burning his guy, staying in bounds. And that was awesome to see. It just happened so fast. It was like, yeah.
We have to drop the guy's name, even though he's not in the chat. He was at the game. He was there. He was present at the game, and he's been hooting and hollering about Danny Gray for the past month or so. The elephant in the room, Joey Mahoney.
Yeah.
I was like,
Joe is like on cloud nine now.
Niner Joe on Twitter. Yeah. He literally, I wish I saw the look on his face of this reaction to when Danny Gray got that pass from him. Trey Lance. That'd have been nice. Let me see what's up to some new guys who trickled in the chat. Hey, 36 people viewing. I'm thankful for it. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. David Edmondson, Super Dave, the OG from Real Talk Niner Talk, says, what's good, everybody? How you doing, bro? And we have, who else is here, man? Oh, no, I'm not sure who this is. This is either Mike, this could be Nick, but from Nothing But Niners, shout out to you guys, man. You guys are always doing it big on YouTube, repping hard. A major announcement, by the way. It's a personal one, but people were skeptical of whether it's going to happen, whether am I going to the game against the Seahawks. Nick was one of the from Nothing But Niners who had inquired about me going to the game. He probably was really pushy about it for me to go. He's like, hey, man, if I'm coming all the way from New Jersey, you got to come out, and you live in California. And I live 2.5 hours from Levi. So I'm going to be at the game. There's going to be a huge meet and greet the night before. Probably on my next show, I'll have the flyer for it. Ray Pena, the Eye of the Niner, the dude with the glass 49er eye rapper, is going to host a birthday party, basically a huge 49er meet and greet at this restaurant in Santa Clara called the Metro City the night before the game. I know Nick's going to be there, 49er dude. Dave Canal, the 49er rapper. It's just going to be a huge meetup. It should be awesome, man, the night before the game. So I'm going to be there. And I had to throw that out there because I didn't even go to a real game last year. I just went to the preseason game against KC. So I'm pretty excited about going to an actual real regular season game. There's something that we're going to be talking about in a minute, or David Edmondson's throwing out there. He's saying JETS, Jets, get Jimmy. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. We're not going to hold off on that. Spy versus Spy, welcome to the channel. Said Purdy was better than who? Who are you saying, Lance? I don't think so. But I liked what I saw in Purdy, though.
Yeah, I liked what I saw with Purdy, too. But, Sudfeld was great. Sudfeld didn't miss a pass, I don't think. All the ones I saw, he hit his passes. Sure, he had, receivers dropped 2 or 3 of them, and then he got that fumble from Ray. But Purdy, Sudfeld, I'm confident now with Sudfeld. Is it ideal that he's in there? No, but I feel that if Lance misses a game or two, hopefully he doesn't, that I would feel confident that Sudfeld can go in there and get a game, can win a game.
Hey, I'm going to eat my Sudfeld crow. All right, so there were times, I don't know if I ever said it on this channel, but I 100% did say it to friends of mine, and I'm feeling bad that I said it. I used to call him Suckfeld. Yeah. And I even remember on a Twitter space, the wonderful world of Twitter spaces, there was a discussion about the 49ers, and shout out to Eric Crocker. We all know who he is from his great podcast that he does, and on Locked On 49ers. He was on there, and I was just hit. I mentioned something about Sudfeld, how I wasn't confident in him. I didn't like what I saw from him. And Crocker spoke up for Sudfeld right to me. And he's like, no, I've been hearing that Sudfeld's looking pretty good. And he was saying this. This is before the mini camps even started. This is before we had even drafted Purdy. Crocker was speaking on this. And I was like, what makes you say that? Why do you say that with so much confidence? And Crocker was basically saying, he didn't name any players' names, but he was like, oh, I heard it from some of the players that Sudfeld isn't too bad and he's all right. And I bit my tongue on it. I was like, okay, well, I hope he's right, because if Lance goes down, I'm going to be pretty scared. But, right now, from what I see in Sudfeld, from what I hear in camp, and okay, he looks like an NFL backup. He looks like, he doesn't need to be a superstar. Doesn't need to be Fitz Magic, but he looks like he could step in, hand the ball off, get the running game going, be a game manager. And hey, he's got an arm on him, right?
Yeah, he has an arm. He can move a little bit. It's just, do I feel confident that, if you give Sudfeld time, he's going to find the right receiver to throw it to? He showed that tonight. I mean, I know it's preseason, but he's been doing all that in camp, right? So it's like I have confidence in him. Now, where Sudfeld might fail is like, yeah, if the pocket is collapsing and all this stuff and receivers are closed, he's probably going to have a harder time, and you're going to see that, right? But hopefully we don't see it. But I think he did an awesome job. I'm not worried. I'm not that worried anymore about that. Like I'm fine with Sudfeld as our backup QB.
And when we had initially picked him up, a few times I actually sat and watched his college highlights because I was curious. I had no idea who the guy was when we picked him up. I heard he was on the Eagles, and I thought when we had picked him up, he had played in relief with the Eagles, but he never did. So I was thinking to myself, why did we pick this guy up? Who is he? I mean, like, what did we see in him to pick him up? What did we see in him to give him guaranteed money? What's going on with this? I watched this film and I saw that he had a strong arm, but that was all I pretty much saw. But I noticed one thing though. Today he was kind of moving around away from the rush. He's got a little bit of mobility on him now. Yeah. Maybe it's something he's worked on. I don't know if he dropped weight, if he improved his fitness, but it doesn't look too bad. I'll be honest. There was something in the chat that was David Edmonds had said all three quarterbacks were good tonight.
Yeah.
And okay,
yeah,
Spy
Purdy
versus
was good.
Said I'm comfortable rolling with Trey and Purdy. Okay, yeah. When we drafted Brock Purdy, I wanted to say this, that I was like, oh wow, this guy is a good player, because I saw his film from his 2020 season. And 2020 he was slated to be a much higher draft pick. And I saw shades of Russell Wilson. Don't crucify me on this one, but I saw the mobility. I saw him able to make plays and throw on the run. But I didn't know at the time that he had this noodle arm, as you say. And I heard things all throughout the camp. Grant Cohn and other people that were covering camp were saying that Purdy was struggling on certain deep passes in camp, and he's got a really weak arm. And so I was really doubtful of him. But he just looks like a gamer to me.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe him. We saw all of it tonight, because his first pass, he was on his back foot. He throws it up. The ball is just hanging there. If that was a first string defense, that would have been a pick, 100%. Like that thing just hung up there. But then there were plays when you're thinking, man, he's under a lot of pressure. He's kind of doing the Russell Wilson thing where he's running behind, and he turns around, sees the open receiver. I think it was our tight end, right? Croft, I believe. Running towards the sideline, hits him. And I was like, dude, that was a play. Like when you see those plays, and you saw it at the end of the drive as well, where he gets that touchdown to Hudson, I think it was. That was another off, sure, he doesn't have an arm, but you can tell that dude's played in a lot of games, that he's been in a lot of these situations that, a lot of quarterbacks can't say they have. Like you can see it. So I think the only thing about Brock Purdy is that he probably can't throw off platform because his arm won't save him, right? He doesn't have enough strong, he has to plant his feet to throw to get any velocity on the ball, but he's not going to be able to go, off platform and make a dazzling throw. But that's fine. He's our third string quarterback. And I liked how decisive he was. Like that was good to see. And I'm fine. I like what I'm seeing with Purdy. And if, he's going to develop, right? So if he ends up being a backup someday, I'm not mad. But right now, I think Sudfeld is better than Purdy.
Yeah, I think so too. I was assuming that Purdy would beat him out just when we initially drafted him, but just reading what I read in terms of mini camps and training camp with Sudfeld stepping up to the plate and said, "Hey, look, I'm going to be the number 2 guy, whether you guys like it or not. I don't care who you drafted."
Yeah, and Sudfeld has a low key, pretty big arm, and his balls are nice. Like his balls are super nice.
All right, let me read this comment by David Emerson really quick. He said, it's bad when Dr. Disrespect throws a better deep ball than our fourth string quarterback. We know who that guy is. I was saying it too when Dr. Disrespect went to camp and he aired that ball out. He got way better arm than I ever had. That's for sure. It's a tall dude, man. Tall dude. There was somebody in the chat I wanted to say what's up to that had trickled in. I hadn't seen this guy in a while. We have Steve-O Supremo. What's up, bro? How you doing? Says, what's up, fellas? If there's anybody I missed, I'll shout you guys out in just a second. Doesn't look like it. You had mentioned Womack. I was calling him Who's the Mac earlier. I forgot to mention it, but were they throwing to Romeo Doubs on that play? I think they were, the wide receiver from University of Nevada. Actually, Romeo Doubs is one of the guys who I had picked on a few of my mock drafts, actually, because I wanted to pick up another wide receiver. Danny Gray was Christian Watson was my main wide receiver draft crush. After that was Danny Gray. Romeo Doubs was circa in the mix. So I saw him on there, and I saw that they made a point to throw to him. And, that one play where Womack had intercepted the first time, I was thinking, damn, Womack. I was like, people were saying like, oh, wow, nice coverage by Womack, but I think Dobbs came up with it. And I just like, damn, man, it just reminded me of certain plays from 49er DBs in the past where the DB would be right there. It looks like he has hella good coverage, but lo and behold, the receiver came up with the ball. And that's what we saw in real time, at least. But, it was great to see that Womack did make the play on the call. We had challenged it, and we won the challenge, and that was awesome. And this Womack guy, again, to bring him up again, who's the Mac? He looks like he's ready to take over that nickel, without a doubt.
Yeah, and he's young, so that's very promising. That if because I think we drafted him in the 5th round or something like that, and he looks like a baller, man. And it's one of those guys that a school that no one knows about. That a lot of people were. I guess I heard a story where I think one of the scouts had talked to, I don't know, one of the QB coaches there. He's like, hey, don't sleep on this guy or whatever. And they ended up drafting him. And like, I guess from where he played, he was just balling out. It was just from a small school, and so he looks legit, and it's good. I mean, he's young. Like, for him to go out there and be a rookie and make 2 interceptions, and he looks the part.
He looks the part.
Yeah, he looks the part. Like, he passes my eye test. And as far as what you were saying about, Romeo Doubs, that's what I wanted to say. He's been having an awesome camp. Like, because Christian Watson has
been on the pup list.
He's been hurt. So Dobbs, all the Packers are very happy about Dobbs. So
it seems like the Packers always make these receivers happen. Sometimes they're no-name guys, sometimes they're obscure guys, and they just always find a way to make it happen. Whether it was Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers at QB.
Yeah, it helps when you have 2 Hall of Fame QBs, right?
What's up, Celts Chronicles? Rich Celts. Check out his YouTube channel. Great guy. Says, what's up, y'all? Bashar was hella juice when we drafted Danny Gray. Oh, yeah. So on draft day, I didn't do a live stream on my channel. We collaborated on Celts Chronicles channel. You were there, SwanSong. You weren't there for the Danny Gray pick, though. When we announced the Danny Gray pick, I went off because during the stream for a good 3 hours, if I ever had the time to do this, I wish I could hire somebody to do it, but I dropped Danny Gray's name before we made the pick. In a 3-hour span, I probably dropped his name a good 50 times. They were getting sick of me saying the name, but so when we drafted him, I let it all out, and it was great to see him produce and get that touchdown. I was really hyped up about that.
Yeah,
but Ray made a nice touchdown too, not just Danny Gray.
Yeah, and I know Ray, because one of the criticisms for Ray was that he fumbled a lot, right? And he fumbled today as well. But he made that nice touchdown, and his fumble, because I was saying, oh, this guy, my son was watching me from behind, watching the game, and he's like, oh man, this Ray guy is good, but he's been known to fumble the ball. And then my son's like, well, Dad, he got hit pretty hard, and he did get hit pretty hard. It wasn't like a little hit that he got hit pretty hard. He got blindsided pretty hard. So the verdict's still out. Of course, I'm going to be still concerned about Ray fumbling the ball, but man, he's another weapon, and he looks pretty damn quick out there. So I'm really happy with that pickup that we have. And just to put it in perspective, also, I know that I'm kind of digressing here, but with Danny Gray, Womack, all these things, we're gonna see them grow. It's not like we're like Danny Gray is gonna be like, oh shoot, he's gonna get 1,000 yards, and things like that. He's gonna be sharing time with Jennings, with Ray. So everyone's got to temper their expectations, but he's a lot better than Travis Benjamin. Because that's what we're talking about, right? Because Travis Benjamin last year was our only deep threat, and that was the only reason
really
why
a deep threat?
Yeah, that was the only reason why he made the roster, right? Because at the end of the preseason, we're like, oh, Travis Benjamin's gone. We saw him alligator arm some passes in the preseason. He did make a nice catch in the San Diego Chargers game for that TD. That was a sweet catch that he made, but for the most part, you saw him so many times, just alligator arm stuff and things like that. And And I know that he was like the fastest receiver that we had on the team, and that was the reason why they kept him, because he was different from everyone else, right? But this year we had Danny Gray, and Danny Gray was the reason why they picked him. Was, he's fast, but he can also catch underneath, and he's shown it. He's shown that today.
And he showed that run after the catch ability too in college.
Yeah,
and he's got a build to him. He's not some skinny little rinky dinky guy, kind of like what we had in Benjamin or even Marquise Goodwin, who's a little bit bigger. He's got a better build than both those guys. Yeah, and back to Ray Ray. Ray Ray, if you read his 40 times at the combine, you'll be like, what? That guy's slow. But he has what we call football speed.
Yeah, football
and
speed.
He may not have, elite, straight ahead speed or anything, but he definitely has the quickness. You saw on that touchdown, he ran that post route. He broke that dude's kneecaps on that play. And it was just easy for Sudfeld to throw it. And I forgot to mention this. I wanted to give you the breakdown, the stats, just for people who are watching. There's a really good question in the chat that I'm going to address in just a minute. Once I'm done just reading off these stats really quick. So if you guys are curious to what the quarterbacks did in terms of throws, obviously Trey Lance 4 for 5, 80% completion percentage. Hear that, guys? Naysayers, 80%. I don't know what else you guys want. 92 yards, obviously 158.3 quarterback rating. It's a small sample, guys. It's only preseason. We get it. We're not throwing Trey Lance out there to say he's going to be, we're expecting an all-pro season from him. We just need honestly, and I think we'll get this. Yeah, it was a fun night. So, Nate, but honestly, my expectations for Lance better. It's just going to be a couple of notches better than Jimmy, and that's all we need. Nate Sudfeld, 8 for 11. You said he was almost perfect. He was almost perfect. There were passes that he threw out there that could have been caught. 103 yards, 1 touchdown. He got sacked twice. Lance got sacked got sacked once. 132 QB rating. I mean, all the quarterbacks did very well. Brock Purdy, he's only 3 for 6, but 108 quarterback rating. I mean, I can't complain. All 3 guys threw a touchdown. I mean, it was really nice. It's very rare you see that in the preseason game for the Niners. Usually it's just a running fest. You see the running backs get all the glory in our preseason games and get all the fame. And, it was just a different kind of 49er preseason game.
Yeah, and speaking of running backs, I think the way the running backs, in the order that they played, pretty much that's a pretty good ranking for me. Like Sermon ran first, right, ahead of TDP, and then TDP over Mason. I liked all of them. They all looked good, right? The one thing that I could say is that Sermon caught that fastball from Lance, like Lance just threw it at him. He just caught it like that. That was good to see. And then you saw TDP drop a pass from Sudfeld, the exact same, dump out to the flat, and he dropped it. It was right there. It was perfect. And he dropped that. And we've heard criticisms that, he's not great at catching the ball, but he looked really good running the ball, though. I was really impressed with how TDP ran the ball. He had a 10-yard run where he almost broke it out, probably for maybe another 10 to 15 yards he would have got, but he kind of tripped. But Sermon looked good. TDP looked good. And, Mason looked pretty good. But I think that's the order that
we didn't see Mason until the end.
Yeah, till the end.
And obviously Elijah Mitchell, he has some minor injury in there. They're going to basically put him up in bubble wrap before the season starts.
Yeah, we're not going to see him in the – I think he has a hamstring injury. Hopefully he can practice before the week before the game.
Okay, Nasty says Burford. Yeah, Spencer Burford looked good. What's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The left guard. Aaron Banks. I know we had a discussion about Aaron Banks way before the minicamp started, and you were doubtful of him because you never saw him step on the field, and you said that there weren't any positive articles about him in the past, and there, Aaron Banks deserved the skepticism now because we just didn't really see him. It's an unknown factor.
Right.
He took it upon himself to get in better shape. He's right next to Trent Williams. Trent Williams is kind of mentoring him. Trent Williams is mentoring Burford. He's mentoring Jason Poe. I love the fact that Trent Williams was never really a leader in Washington, but he's here. He's getting paid. Not only is he the most dominant player, arguably in the league, he earned that 99 Madden rating. It wasn't just a joke, obviously. He got the bag, got the money, but now he's mentoring freaking Burford, Banks, Poe. Poe looked pretty nice too, man. A little bit of a shorter, stubbier offensive line with some mobility, offensive guard, some mobility. Really quick, we talked about Womack earlier in terms of defense, and we weren't really talking about the defensive players too much. But Drake Jackson, I was really, really excited to see him. And when we were out there, I was telling people in my little Facebook chat that we all frequent, our little Facebook chat, like, oh man, I'm smelling a Drake Jackson sack, and I want to see him get a sack. And he was getting pressures, and he had, he was getting close. And lo and behold, he steps off the field, and it's a freaking shoulder type injury. And so Kenny says, does anyone know how bad Drake Jackson's injury is? So I don't know if anybody's following the pressers, anybody's following Twitter, if they hear any word on it. It's a huge question mark. I hope it's not bad.
Yeah, the 49ers, they won't say anything until they have to. What I was impressed with Drake Jackson is that, man, he's such a good athlete. He's so sudden in the way that he can shift his weight and move this and move that. Like, he's just very nimble out there. Like, for a big guy, he's really nimble. And he has a motor as well. So positive signs. I hope he's not out for too long, man. Like, if I had to guess, it's either a separated shoulder or a stinger or something like that. I don't know. I know that they said that he was in a lot of pain. I hope it's not a collarbone, because usually when you separate a shoulder, because I've separated my shoulder, it hurts a little bit at the beginning. It feels more weird than anything. It doesn't hurt. And then when it pops back up, it's like normal. It feels normal. It's that night. It's the night when it has time to swell up. That's when it hurts, right? So usually those things don't hurt, right? Like, they hurt initially, but when it gets popped back, it really doesn't hurt that much. So, but he was walking off with his arm kind of limp. So I don't know. Like, usually if it is a separated shoulder, you would think they would sling it, and kind of like make it immobile. So I don't know. Maybe we can hope that maybe it's a stinger or something. Like, that's the thing that we can hope for, right? Because if he does have a separated shoulder, he's gonna probably miss, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. I had to guess.
And I remember I had pulled it up on Google just out of curiosity, because I'm not a doctor, but I was just curious, what the average time frame for, I believe for a separated shoulder was 2 to 12 weeks for recovery. So it can vary. It's something that can completely vary. So really, really crossing my fingers about that. I'm saying my prayers, and you guys say, your prayers for Drake Jackson. We don't want to see any stupid catastrophic injury to start off the season. Hopefully it's something minor, and we can move on from it, and he'll be fine once he steps back on the field. That was a little bit of a bittersweet. We saw the glimpse, like, oh wow, he's looking good. He might get a sack tonight, and you see him walking off the field, like, oh come on, please. We're tired of seeing all these damn injuries.
Yeah, and the thing about it too, also, our line is super deep, right? So even if Drake Jackson was totally healthy, he's probably behind Ibukam and Toure. Sure, we're gonna cycle in defensive line so they're all refreshed. So yeah, that's gonna hurt that we're gonna have one less guy, especially the talent level like he has. But hopefully everything's okay. And like I said, it's not like it's not like we're losing a starter if we lose him. Like, I don't want to lose him, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's
but he's that
not
extra,
the end of the world.
He's that extra punch to the pass rush that I've been dying. Yeah, I was dying to have last year. I've been dying to have it this year, and I just think he can be that future star pass rusher on the opposite side of Bosa, and a la D Ford, a D Ford that's more sustainable, obviously, and Tim Ryan, who announces the games of Greg Papa, said that he's a former NFL D lineman. He said that when he was watching Drake Jackson in camp, he said that he has the Bruce Smith, the exact, pretty much build of a Bruce Smith. So that's cool to hear, man. And they already said he already has the bend. What is up, G-Rod? G-Rod says, how about Purdy? He looked really good. He's really quick and accurate. Yeah, I like Purdy in his 2020 college campaign. He kind of fell off a little bit in 2021. I was curious to see what he could do when we drafted him. I thought maybe he'd be out Sudfeld, but looks like he's got some learning to do, but he still looks good regardless. It'll be great to have him on the practice squad. That's pretty much where I see Purdy in terms of his role. Let me just do a recap on the running backs. So we talked about the running backs sooner. I'm kind of bouncing around a little here, guys, but it's good to bring up stats from now and then from the box score, just in case anybody was curious. In terms of the leading rushers, it was very split. It was very why am I even rolling? I'm so tongue-tied right now. I'm trying to talk too fast. It's very well distributed, pretty much. In terms of the running game, JaMychal Hasty was a leading rusher with 36 yards, 5 carries, 7.2 yards per carry. Longest run was 14 yards. TDP, Tyrion Davis-Price, 3.6 a carry, not really impressive, but 36 yards. He tied Hasty. Obviously, you have Jordan Mason, 30 yards with 5 yards of carry. So not a bad showing for Jordan Mason, even though he showed up way late in the fourth quarter. I'll mention the receiving yards really quick, and
What about
obviously
Sermon?
Sermon, yeah, that's right. Sermon ran the rock too. Sermon 6 carries for 11 yards, not impressive. So hopefully we see more from Sermon. I was hearing some good things in camp about Sermon, primarily from shout out to Rohan Chakravarthi. He's been on the show. Really great kid. I don't really want to call him a kid, but just a brilliant football mind. He writes for 49ers Web Zone, has his own YouTube channel. He was pumping out so many articles throughout all of training camp. So first training camp for him, and he knocked it out of the park. But long story short, he had a lot of good things to say about Sermon during camp. So hopefully it translates in games. There are people out there who doubt Sermon because he barely stepped on the field last year. Same way they doubted Aaron Banks. So these second year guys, it seems like we're redshirting players, and which is kind of unheard of in the NFL. But Shanahan's doing it. Shanahan just does things differently. So he kind of runs.
Roster's pretty good too. That's like right. So it's like
it's even better this year than it was last year, and look how far we got last year. But with that said, I'm going to really quick go down the rundown of the receivers really quick. Danny Gray only caught 2 passes, almost got a third one, but 99 yards. That's all with that touchdown. Obviously, was targeted 4 times. Ray McLeod, who was an amazing special teamer, amazing returner, but he's also going to help out as a receiver. And what I've been hearing in camp is that he's the 3rd best receiver in camp. So 4 catches for 63 yards. Obviously, that 139-yarder from Nate Sudfeld was targeted 4 times. And who else was there? Tanner Hudson, 2 catches, 27 yards, and Hasty for 1 catch for 11. So just an overall, pretty good look on offense. Again, usually our preseason games are more run heavy. This time around, it was more pass heavy.
Yeah, and when you were talking about the wide receivers, our wide receiver room is looking pretty good, right? Like we got Ayuk went crazy in camp. We all know what Debo did. Jennings, I know, didn't have a great camp, but he might be just a gamer, man. Like we've seen him play. We've seen him play clutch during the playoffs. So. And then we have Danny Gray, and then Ray McLeod. Like it's so much better than
Malik
last
Turner
year.
isn't a slouch either.
Malik Turner.
And we brought in Will Snead. Will Snead.
Yeah, Will Snead is like, dude. I can't think about it. Like it's way better than last year, man. Way better.
Exactly. I mean, if somebody were to go down, you have a proven veteran and Will Snead to step in.
Right.
Assuming he makes the squad. And Malik Turner isn't necessarily a bad player. He's shown that he can get touchdowns on certain deep routes, and he hasn't really done much for us so far. And it was just one preseason game, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm hoping we keep 6 wide receivers. I really do. I'm not sure who they would put on the chopping block. It's really interesting. Let's so Kenny and Kenny's always talking about running backs. That's how he's a big running back guy. Says Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr., Jamaica Hasty, Juszczyk Juice. Somebody out there who watches the show sometimes, he wants Kyle Juszczyk to be a captain, and he tweets about it every day on Twitter that he wants Kyle Juszczyk to be a captain. We know who that guy is. TDP, Tario Davis Price, that's his running back room right there, Kenny. I was going to say, when I saw the initial message in this chat I follow about what I saw was, I didn't read the first name and really pay attention to the first name, but what I saw was Wilson has an ACL tear. And I typed right away, I was like, wait, Wilson didn't even get the ball. What are you talking about? And I was thinking about our Wilson, Jeff Wilson Jr. I was thinking, I've seen our players drop like flies in games, but really, I was watching the damn game. I did not see this guy carry the rock. What are you guys talking about? And then I went back and read it, Zach Wilson. So somebody had mentioned earlier, David Edmondson made a little joke about it. So apparently, I'm not sure what the official word is. Probably is no official word yet, but I didn't even see the play. But Zach Wilson Jr. has a possible ACL tear. So, there's been some rumblings about the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson getting a major suspension beyond 6 games. And now you have this Jets scenario in the picture. And lo and behold, it looks like the 49ers may have leverage to trade Jimmy G. So,
I was actually watching that game, and he was going out. He did a bootleg. He had a little bit of pressure, and he could have ran out of bounds, but he wanted to get extra yards for whatever reason. It wasn't like a 3rd down or anything. I think it was like 1st down, and he makes a cut inside, right, and it didn't look that bad. It didn't look good. Like, it didn't look great. Like, you could tell something had happened, but it wasn't like one of those ones where you're like, oh, he's injured, right? So then he gets up limping, right, and he tries to walk it off, and he instantly goes down again, right? Like one of those where you try to walk it off, and he's like, nope. So he sat right down, and the trainers came, and then now. But I did see on Twitter, one of their beat writers had said, Saleh says they think the ACL is intact. So he gets an MRI tomorrow. That they think but it could be a torn MCL or partially torn ACL. Like, it's not looking good. If you're a Jets fan right now, you're like I visited Jets Reddit right after, and they are like, I can't believe this. This always happens to us. We're cursed, and all these things, and yeah, it definitely adds an extra destination where Jimmy could go there, because we know that he could fit right in because he knows that system, right?
They have LaFleur's brother, right?
Yeah, he's worked with them, right? He was on the Niners with us, so him and Jimmy have a relationship. But the thing is, the Jets just paid $22 million for Dwayne Brown because Mikael Becton went down, right? So did that, and then Joe Flacco has actually had a great camp. You'd even see some reporters that said Flacco is doing better than Zach Wilson.
Flacco, huh?
Yeah.
I'm so conflicted because you never want to see players go down. Yeah, me and other 49er fans are dying for the 49ers. I pretty much I lost all hopes on any trade happening. I was pretty much at the point, we drafted a ton of rookies. We have all these undrafted free agents. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, cut Jimmy G before week 1, call it a day. But then our eyes are starting to get big now. Oh, wow, look, we might trade him to the Browns because of this Deshaun Watson issue. Oh, wow, look. Oh, wow, Zach Wilson just got hurt. Not that I'm happy that he got hurt, but I'm just saying, hey, it looks like they may need a quarterback. So now there's even more of a conflict of interest because you're saying it may not be an ACL tear, and I'm sure there's some Jimmy, just some Niner fans out there who wanted to get compensation for Jimmy, and they're probably like, oh, well, I hope it's not. I hope it's ACL. It was torn, so we could trade him.
Yeah. And I hate this.
It kills me. I do not want to see players get hurt, but there is. I guarantee you that conflict sticking in some Niner fans' heads. Sure.
I mean, everyone thinks that. Everyone, we're not all saints out here, right? But
we're Niners.
So even if he's out for the year, like I said, I don't think it's for sure that they go after Jimmy. Like I said, they have Flacco. Jimmy's expensive, and it's not like if Jimmy gets there. I mean, the Jets are not they're not considered a contending team. The only people that think the Jets are a contending team are Jets fans. Right?
At least they tell us that. That's what they tell us.
Yeah,
right?
You know what I mean? Delusional Jets fans. Like, no one else thinks. I'm not saying that they can't, because things happen in NFL, right? But they're not a contending team. They have a tough schedule, and they play the Bills twice. You know what I mean? So it's like they have it tough. So why get Jimmy what is that going to do for you? Make you win 3 games? Like, I don't know. Like, and when, especially that Flacco's there and he's had a great camp, it doesn't make any sense in my opinion.
Yeah, and for both teams, it's like if for the Browns or the New York Jets, I mean, they're gonna have to work out some type of salary, some type of contract with Jimmy. It's not a done deal either way you look at it. So we'll see. I mean, for the longest time I was just thinking, hey, we're just gonna wash our hands clean and he's just gonna move on and sign with whoever. And people are like, oh, he's going to go to Seattle because, and Pete Carroll wants to stick it to us. So, who knows? We got, let me just say what's up.
Traded. Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Let me say what's up to this guy really quick. Been a long time since I've seen him. It's Trez from TNT, known on the one half of TNT from the Rombo Show, T Breezy all the way in the ATL, repping the Niners all day. And he says, it's just the first preseason. We need to wait and see more consistency from these new players. But I understand the excitement that football is back, but our fans need to slow down. TNT, what's up, bro? Great to see you. Go ahead. My bad, bro.
No, I was just going to say, God, I forgot what I was going to say, actually.
We were talking about Jimmy and trading him and the salaries.
Oh, yeah. At this point, if we get anything for Jimmy, I'm going to be happy. I don't even care if it's a 6th round pick, whatever. Like if we get anything for him, that'd be amazing. Like so, it's like to me, he's like they're gonna cut him, but if we get anything, fine.
Yeah. We probably left a whole lot of things out. If you have anything on your mind in terms of that you wanted to talk about in the game or a player that stood out, somebody in the trenches, perhaps we didn't really talk about D-line too much. We did talk about Drake Jackson. But if there's anything that sticks out to you, or if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. We don't want to be here all night and keep you guys up all night or anything like that. But
yeah, so
go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say two things that we didn't hear much from center. That's a good thing, right? The fact that we didn't hear very much from center. I know Sutherland had a bad snap, but he's like our 3rd string center. Like I didn't even know that he was on the roster. So we didn't hear any when Trey was in there, when Sudfeld was in there. I don't remember hearing anything about center. That's good. I saw Javon Kinlaw. I can't believe he's 290 pounds now. I mean, I believe it because if you look at him, he's
huge.
a lot thinner. Yeah,
but he's huge though.
He's still huge. But like him 290, I saw him get penetration a couple times. I saw him command a double team. He looks good. He got out healthy. He played a decent amount. I would say more than a quarter's worth of play, I believe. Kerry Hyder got some pressure on the outside that I saw in the game. It's good. I'm really happy.
Now I'm forgetting. Was Jake Brendel the starting center in the game? I don't
know that either. That I was asking.
And I remember that bad snap by that guy. I forgot his name, but it was literally a name I had never seen before.
Sutherland.
Sutherland. And I was surprised to see him out there because we had signed an undrafted free agent in Donovan West out of Arizona State. And I was really high on Donovan West. I wanted the 49ers to possibly draft him because I knew we needed center help. And we didn't draft him. And then when we got him as an undrafted free agent, I was elated. I was like, oh, wow, that's great value for an undrafted free agent at a position of need. And I didn't see Donovan West in the game until later. And I'll be honest, it was at the point in the time of the game. Preseason games are not the most exciting games, guys. I'm a diehard Niner fan, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say I was locked into the game as if I was watching a regular season or playoff game in the 4th quarter of a damn preseason game. So I can't really give you my analysis on Donovan West on whether he played well or not. But I was just surprised to see him that low on the depth chart. I thought, wishful thinking, I was just in terms of talent, he was supposed to be drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. I was hoping that Donovan West would make a push to towards being a second stringer or possibly push for the starting position, because we all know that Brunskill is not a true center. We all know that Brendel is a true center, but he's a journeyman. So, Donovan West is going through his bumps and bruises, I guess, and who knows, maybe he's lucky if he makes the practice squad. I'm not sure where he is right now in terms of his probability of making the team.
Yeah. My guess is they'll probably make the practice squad because I think they gave him like $100,000 signing bonus, like which they haven't done for any of those other rookies. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you're right, but he'll probably make the practice squad.
And again, we mentioned it in previous podcasts, and we mentioned it on Spaces, people talking on Twitter, on Facebook, you name it. Whoever you talk Niners football to, we named it. This team has incredible depth across the board. It's obviously not the center position, but you said it was nice to know that during the game we weren't yelling, screaming, throwing things at the TV because of bad center play. Right? Other than that really bad snap that went off center, it was the center play was pretty decent. It wasn't bad. We got Kenny. Kenny's got a question. Says, do you think they will play Trey Lance again in the preseason? I don't think they need to. The second preseason game, the next one, I doubt we see him. The 3rd preseason game is usually a dress rehearsal, so we'll probably see a little bit of him in the 1st quarter, is my assumption, and I was hearing that was going to be the case. And really quick, Elias says, what's up, Bash? Trey Area. Should I say it the real way? Trey Area! Hey, I know it's only preseason, but I'm just saying we're going to have this guy as our quarterback for a long, long time. That's how I feel about Trey Lance, and it's nice to see a glimpse of what we can do in the future. I know you got his jersey already. I see that right there, number 5. So did you want to answer that question about Trey Lance there, Swan, the one that Kenny had?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you said. I think Kyle already said that he's not going to play a lot of players in week 2, right? It's probably what you saw in the 3rd and 4th quarter. They'll probably play the whole game, poor guys. And then
we're gonna be really cautious now that our guys are getting hurt. Man.
They better just run a lot in that game, just dwindle down the clock, right? And then I think we're going to see him again in the 3rd game. Because remember, guys, I mean, Trey looked good tonight. He wasn't perfect, but he looked good. His numbers were really good, but he still needs reps. We want to get Trey as many reps as possible for all these things to start becoming kind of like routine, where so I think we're going to see a better Trey at the end of the year than we do now. And in order for that to happen, got to get him as many reps as possible.
Yeah, T Breezy, Trez from TNT has a concern. He says, "What's your take on Shanahan starting Trey with none of the first string weapons? Not a good idea, in my opinion. I think it was a boneheaded decision. That's how you get your quarterback hurt in the preseason." I was okay with it when the game started, because obviously I'd get more excited if I saw Debo and Lance and Kittle and Ayuk out there, and sure. But part of me was like, you know what, whatever. Trey Williams sat. Supposedly, Colton McKivitz has shown signs of improvement over the past 2 years. And Trey Williams went as far as to say that Colton McKivitz should have started in the NFC championship game. And Trent Williams said that he should have just sat himself out of that game and he shouldn't have even played. That's what Trent Williams said at least. So he kind of showed a vote of confidence for McKivitz. So, hey, we saw what we needed to see. Trey Lance, he didn't get hurt. Obviously, school looked like shit on that one play, but I was okay with it, and we're probably not going to play the next game, so, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's football, guys. Like, I get it, but, like, he's in there for, how many plays was he in there today for? 12? And a lot of the times, like, some of the times he was in shotgun, he can just get rid of the ball whenever he needs to. A lot of it was check down, so it wasn't going to be like him doing a whole lot of stuff, so he needs the reps. Like, there's no way around it, right? So we all kind of know that. Like, so as much reps that we can get him while being smart, I think it's fine.
Yeah. All right. Hey, great to have you guys in here in the chat. Elias Lopez, what's up, bro? Says, what's up, Bass Trey area? I think I did that twice. My bad. But I see a lot of new faces in the chat. See a lot of old faces. A lot of, we had a great turnout in terms of viewership tonight. I think I had like a 36 people viewing at one point. That might be my record. I'm not sure. When I had Larry Krueger on here live, I had a whole bunch of live viewers. But, it's great to, SwanSong, you did a great job tonight. I just want to say, man, you don't have a YouTube channel of your own, but we've conversed a lot on Twitter. We've talked a lot on Facebook, and I know the game. You grew up in the 80s just like I did, and we both share that same passion, and I know you're very knowledgeable. And hey, before we wrap it up, I just want to say what's up to 49er dude. You jump in here a little late, but it says, Bashar, how about Trey Lance? Haters, you're officially on notice. I'm at work, just tapping in for the moment. Yeah, so the guy who did my intro song is here, 49er dude, excellent rapper from Southern California, diehard Niner fan, and he's been on the show a few times, and great guy.
Dude, at this point, if you're hating on Trey being a rookie, knowing what you know about his character, talent, and the hope that, our franchise is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't go anywhere from Trey, guys. Like, that's it. With Jimmy, it's a different story because we're moving away from Jimmy. We got Trey to come in from Jimmy. So at that point, it was already said and done. If you're not supporting Trey now, you're not a Niner fan to me.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the hate from opposing fan bases, especially within our division. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. But from Niner fans, come on, guys.
Dude,
really?
From Niner fans, if you're hating on Trey, I mean, I get it that you could be annoyed of people hating on Jimmy. I get that. But you hating on Trey and rooting against him, you're either not a Niner fan or a fake Niner fan or just a troll.
Or you just don't know football. You just simply just did not know football. If you do not see the talent by now, I don't know what else I can do for you. Stevie Wonder can probably see the talent more than you can.
Yeah, so. It's not even worth it's not even worth my time feeding the trolls anymore.
No, it's not. It's really not. Some of them just do it for the laughs. They're laughing inside like, oh, yeah, I know Trey's going to be really good, but I'm just going to mess with these guys' heads. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not weird. I'm not an elementary school child to deal with that. I'm sorry, So hey, once again, thanks, SwanSong. I'm going to say it again because you did an excellent job on the show. Thanks, and I really, really appreciate the gesture. I hit you up the last minute. It's not like we planned this. I didn't script any questions. We winged this whole show. I had my tabs open. I was going to play a video or something, but I said, screw it. I'll just retweet it or something, share it on my Twitter. No big deal. It was just some video of Aaron Rodgers. Unless you guys really want to see, it was just Aaron Rodgers dabbing up.
I want to see that.
You want to see it? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll play it. Give me a second. Just a moment, guys. Let me just cue this video up and we will play it. Why not? I hate Aaron Rodgers, guys. If you guys don't know me by now, I cannot stand Aaron Rodgers. Anybody who throws shade on the Niners, I don't care if we passed you up in the draft, but when you throw shade on the Niners like that, I'm sorry, dude. You lose my respect. So here we go. Where is I have it in one of these. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna share it right now. It's a really quick video.
Look at Trey giving him. Look at him the serious eyes, bro.
They got that bang bang diner gang playing in the background.
Trey's a competitor, bro.
Dude, Trey is he is so mature beyond. I've never seen a kid step into the league with that level of maturity, intelligence, work ethic, and then you have all the amazing physical athletic ability to go with it. It's like the guy hit the genetic lottery, for Christ's sake.
Dude, and the thing about it, the way that he pulls it off is not in a corny Russell Wilson way or what's it called? He's got swag to him as well. He is
got
like
that swag.
He's such a well-rounded dude. So I dig it. I'm all for it. I hope he balls out so that I could watch Trey Lance until I retire.
I'm just waiting the day for these so-called Niner fans. Wait on Trey Lance. I'm waiting the day till I see them all wearing Trey Lance's jerseys. And then, we're just going to get the last laugh. It's going to be funny. All right, guys. I'm going to have to close this out, man. Excellent job, SwanSong. Hit up SwanSong on Twitter, @SwanSong. If you have anything you want to say before we end the show, go ahead, SwanSong.
I'm all good. Thanks for having me on. It's always fun, man.
Oh, yeah. You did an excellent job, and I really appreciate it. I hit you up last minute. You jumped on, and boom.
This guy forced me on camera, too. He forced me on camera.
He didn't want to go on camera. He didn't want, but hey, I was like, hey man, there's a lot of dudes that are on YouTube that are uglier than you. So trust me, you could pull it off. All right, guys. So thank you for watching 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. The 49ers came on top, victorious. It's only preseason, we know. But hey, it's the beginning of the Trey Lance era. We're excited. We're happy. And with that said, keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Come on, 49er faithful, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yeah, yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold